Hey everyone, welcome back to another video by Guitar Slinger Hockey, and I'm here today to talk to you about the lie of your hockey stick. So this is something that I think a lot of people kind of understand what it is and why it's important, but I do think there's an equal number of people that probably don't. And so I wanted this video to kind of focus on why the lie of your stick is important no matter what level you're playing, whether this is the first day that you've ever stepped on the ice as a new hockey player or you've been playing for years. So first a little backstory about how I found out about it. When I was still playing competitively, we were given hockey sticks. They were very generic pro stock hockey sticks. The quality was junk. They were all pretty much the same thing. Your only choice was, are you right-handed or left-handed? And so that's how we got our sticks. And basically, I noticed when I was playing, I've always been I fancied myself fairly decent at passing, but I was missing a lot of passes under the toe of my stick. So kind of like in this area here, I was missing a lot of passes, and the puck, I remember, was hitting the blade, and it was just like I couldn't stop it for whatever reason. And that was my first experience with finding out that I was in the wrong lie based on how I skated. And so I did some kind of research on it and kind of try to understand a little bit about it. And there wasn't a whole lot of information at that time about what the lie was, how to fix it, and what it really meant, and how you needed to have your stick, and how to, the kind of inner workings of it and stuff like that. So basically, if you don't know what the lie of a hockey stick is, it's essentially this angle right in this area here. You'll commonly see it on the stick is in numerical form. Let me see if I have. Yeah, I do. Okay, so essentially, you can see on this. Oops, I'm bumping stuff. Let me see here. Yeah, you can see it right here. It kind of talks about the flex and the TC2-5, and that 5 number is the lie. So this is a lie 5 stick. Now, if you saw, you typically see 4, 5, and 6. So 4, 5, 5.5, and 6 is generally what you'll see. But like I said, for this particular one, this is a 5. As is this other one on the table here too. Because you can buy, it's one of my favorite things about the True sticks is that you can get the P92 curve, which I'll talk about blades in another video, but you can get the P92 curve, but in a lie 5 instead of the typical 5.5 lie that it comes in Bauer. Although Bauer's lie says 6 on it, by the way, but it's still a 5.5. Anyways, so what was happening back in the day is essentially, instead of the blade being flat on the ice, the toe was slightly off the ice, and even though the width of there wasn't enough room for a puck to get under here, it was lightly touching the ice, and it was just knocking the blade completely out of the way when I would receive passes. And of course, even though all passes should be received on the middle to the heel of the blade, depending on the curve type, not all passes are created equal, right? So you kind of got to receive how you receive. So what I learned about myself is that I skate more bent over when I skate versus like really tight knee bends and playing the puck close to your body, like some other players. So I kind of found out, like, well, I need to have a lower number lie in order to make sure that the entire blade is on the ice, so that make it easier for receiving passes and shooting. So basically, at that point, I just started researching different types of sticks and different blades and different lies, and I've started noticing that certain types of blades were more common to find in the lie that I needed. So I started gravitating towards those sticks. So, for example, the P88 Bauer cane curve, it says 6 on the shaft of it, but it's in fact actually a 5. and then you go and take a look at the P92 in Bauer, it also says 6 on it, but it's a 5.5. So you can tell that there's issues with the numbering system when you're going into the stores and look at it. So essentially, you know, you take two sticks side by side, and you'd see one that says 6, and then one says 6 on it, and it would look like that. So you can see the angles would be different on the two sticks with the same number. It's super irritating. So it's over time of just sticking, putting the sticks together to see if the lies are the same. But that is for after you've determined what lie you actually need. So one of the things I want to talk about now, so why do I care? Why do you guys care about the lie? So my notes out of the way here. The lie is important because you want that whole blade, or the majority of it, to be connected with the ice when you're receiving passes and when you're passing to people. If it is not, you will not be receiving passes. It will be knocking the blade out of the way. In the process of actually passing to people, you're going to actually notice that you may lose the puck off the heel on the stick, or it may just slide under the toe of the blade in an unexplained manner. And so we want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So one of the things is like figuring out like how do you know if your lie is correct or wrong or whatever. So one of the things that I would recommend doing, and I brought so you're going to have to retape the blade on your stick, and then do what I did here. I took a Sharpie and I drew a line along the entire duration or length of the blade. Now, you want this whole blade, and what you're going to do is you're going to play a couple of games or a couple of practices until the tape starts wearing off the bottom like it normally does, and you want that tape to wear evenly the whole length of the blade, depending on the shape. You can see the P92 is fairly rounded on the bottom, so it won't be completely straight. The whole thing won't be completely worn off, but you want it mostly to be flat, the whole blade to wear. For example, this other stick is older. You can see the tape is kind of funky on it here. So you can see on this one, so there's the wear pattern is the majority. There's still some on the toe, but it's worn off the heel. Okay, so that means, and this is my wife's stick, by the way, so that means that she is using the stick is actually, in her case, is a little too long for her, and we knew that when we started cutting this down because we wanted to try some different things. But this tells both of us that the wear patterns are, even though it's getting probably like 3/4 of the blade, it's, you know, we'd like to see that wear just a little bit more up here towards the toe, but the majority of it is pretty good. So that goes into stick length now. So basically, you own a hockey stick, and without having you go out and buy another hockey stick because your lie isn't correct, it's basically the way you rectify that is you cut the stick shorter, because as you do that, the blade will flatten out, because the blade will be shorter, or the stick will be shorter. What that will directly become, though, the stick will directly become stiffer. So if that's not something you want to do and you're not willing to deal with, then that does mean you straight up need to buy a new stick. Sorry. But if you're willing to cut the stick a little shorter, then that's an option for you. So let's say, for example, that you didn't, you like the stick exactly the length that it is, and you don't want to cut it down. Then, like I said, it will require you to buy a new stick. In that case, I'd probably just wait till your stick wears out and then get yourself a new stick in the proper lie. And a couple of different things here. So we know, because this particular blade, my wife's blade, wore mostly on the middle to the heel, that means the stick is too long. If it wears only on the toe but not back here, that means the stick is too short, or the lie number is too low. So, and that would be kind of that would look almost like the heel is off the ice, basically. No, it's kind of hard to see here, but so basically you want it to wear the whole bottom of the blade. That's the ideal, with an exception if the blade is rounded like this type of pattern. So when you go in there to go check out a new stick, and you've already found out that let's say that you found out that your stick is the correct lie for you. You know, you did this trick, drew the line on here, and the whole thing wore perfectly. That means now you're going to go in and next time you go stick shopping, you're going to bring your stick with you, and then you're going to be taking a look at this new stick, and you'll line it up with the other one, and both shafts should be equal. You don't want to see this at all. That means there's one of the lies is off. You want it to be exactly the same in the event that your experiment showed that the whole bottom of the blade wore evenly. If you find out, like I said, that the stick, you like the length of the stick that you have, but you found out that you're only wearing one aspect of either the toe or the heel, then that means that you need to go out and buy a stick with a different lie. And again, if it's wearing just on the toe, you need to buy a higher number lie. If it's wearing just on the heel, you need to buy a lower number lie. So, for example, you're going to find out when you go looking around, and like I said, I was talking about this earlier with stick manufacturers. So I know for a fact that Warrior uses lie 4 on all their sticks, and a lie 4 is equal to a lie 5 in true. I also know that in Bauer, they just kind of throw a numbering convention on all their stuff. So on the P92 pattern with Bauer, you can buy a 5.5 or a 5. Now the 5.5 will say P92 lie 6 on it. It's a 5.5. You can go in and check it out next time you're in the store. But if you can also get it in a 5. And I would say that 9 out of 10 players that I work with to figure out what lie they should be in for a stick are in a lie that's too high. So usually they'll say, well, I like the P92 curve, but then the toe's not touching the ice and I'm missing passes under the toe. So that means you can still buy the same curve, just buy it in a lie 5 from Bauer or from True. I think they're right now I think they're the only two manufacturers that make that curve in either a lie 5 or a lie 5.5. Your choice. So, and I also want to talk about something that has to do with, I'm going to go back to my old music days because I used to be a musician. Basically, when you see, a lot of people might feel when they watch a video like this guy is focusing too much on the technical things, on the flex and the sticks. It's all about hockey and skill and learning how to be an effective, efficient hockey player that knows his or her position, this, that, and the other thing. Yes, that's 100% true that you need to learn that, and that's the primary thing. We're going back to the idea that all this stuff is a matter of making sure that your equipment does not hinder your performance, and it allows you to develop the skills that you want and need to develop. If you took a pro hockey player, you could give that dude any hockey stick that you wanted. He's going to be able to drop big slap shots, fire wrist shots. It doesn't matter. You can give him anything. He's like, oh, I guess I kind of like this. I don't really care. And the music reference is for me, I've been playing guitar for 31 years now. You could give me any guitar, and I could play it. And that's just the reality because I've been doing it so long. It's, I'm not necessarily the best guitar player in the world, but I guarantee I could play anything I could play on any other guitar. It doesn't matter the guitar, the quality, whether it's low quality, high quality. It's got different gauge strings on it. It's electric, acoustic. It doesn't matter. I can play it all the same. Pro hockey players and really elite level hockey players that don't think about that kind of stuff because they don't need to, their skills are so high. But when you're developing your skills, whether you're an adult recreational hockey player or a youth hockey player, you need to learn these kinds of things. These things are important to your development of your game. And I see it all the time, just players saying, I want to have a really long hockey stick because I can poke check better when I'm playing defense. Yeah, that's true, but you don't spend that much time during your game poke checking. Or, I like to have a really stiff hockey stick because I like taking big slap shots. Well, that's true. A stiff hockey stick is good for taking slap shots, but in this game, this day and age, even defense put more wrist shots on net than slap shots. How often do you get to take those? Maybe you're the exception, but just stuff to think about, right? So look at this stuff like ways to, either validate you're doing the right thing or to take into consideration like, I want to try that to see what that does to my game. Does it make it a little easier for me to control pucks when I get those crappy bouncing passes, or is it easier for me to keep a puck flat when I pass? I mean, like if I have the right lie, if I have the right flex, all this good stuff. So, anyways, just stuff to think about. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any comments, let me know. If you want to see anything, I can make a video on it. The next thing I'm probably going to do is I'm going to put together a stick flex type of thing, a video too, just to kind of understand why you'd use a certain flex, who's going to use that, and we can go from there. But other than that, thanks for tuning into the channel. Appreciate it as always, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Have a good one.